What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for all the subscribes and all the likes. We have been growing this past
Yeah.
week. We are only 1 week old, and Alhamdulillah, we are growing.
Yep.
Anyways, we are here to review our brother Nzechukwu versus Ulberg after
Yeah.
UFC 259. Nzechukwu won by TKO in the second round.
Third round?
My bad.
Second round, right?
In the
Second round, second round, second
yeah,
round,
in the second
second
round.
round, second
Yeah,
round.
in the second round. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what do you say, Farouk? How
Yeah,
how
it was a great fight. It was a great fight. I told you before the fight there's going to be an interesting fight, and I told you experience is going to play a part of the fight. So experience was on the advantage of Nzechukwu, and he started into the fight well. He wasn't panicking, even though it seems as if Ulberg was winning the first round, like mostly not winning the first round, but engaging more, controlling activities. Whereas Nzechukwu was more composed, relaxed. At some point in time, I thought the fight would be waved off, but he gave Habdin the nod. I'm staying in this fight. Don't do anything silly.
wait,
So,
wait. I feel let's break it down from the beginning. I took some notes
all right,
when
okay,
I took
all
some
right,
notes when the fight was going on. So
okay.
first of all, in the first round, I thought that Nzechukwu was very slow. He was in defense. You understand? He had a high guard
Yes,
the whole time,
yes,
and
yes.
it took him over a minute for him to land his first strike.
Sure,
And it also kind of seemed like he was in trouble early because
sure.
uh what is his name? Ulberg started raining fury on him, you understand? He was
Yes,
hitting him bass
yeah,
blows left and right, you
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
But apparently it was part of his tactics.
You sure? It's a
Him
game
and his
plan.
him and his coach, they
Yeah, it's a
were
game plan.
yeah, they
To
agreed to take
to
it
to
slow
drain
and then
Ulberg early.
yeah, and then put the
Yeah,
pressure on Ulberg. Because
yeah,
what was he doing? He just put his hand up and then started working towards putting the pressure in. So
sure.
now here's the funny thing. When I started seeing that, I did not think that it was a strategy at first. I was like, okay, we know that these guys from CKB, they are very good at counter strikes.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's where they get their setups.
Mm-hmm.
They read your rhythm, and then they find a hole
Sure.
and then knock you out. But
Mm-hmm.
then what's weird is that Nzechukwu came with a guard, but he's not landing.
Mm.
When me and you spoke about the preview in this fight, we thought Nzechukwu is going to stay outside the pocket and
Yeah.
jab, or
Mm-hmm.
probably take him down and try to grapple. You understand? But
Yeah.
then he was working him down with a high guard, but then he was not giving any volume. He was not giving any offense. He was just receiving.
Yeah.
Sort of like, not that I'm going to call it rope a dope by the great Muhammad Ali in Zaire, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, I feel when after the fight, then I realized
Mm.
it was a strategy.
I,
He,
I I
he
think I
knew
think
his
for me,
cardio. He knew his cardio was good, and
yeah,
then
he
he
knew.
continued, and then he knew that if he keeps the pressure on and lets the other guy drain out all his energy, then there'll be a hole for him to take it home.
We're not
So
going to take the fight.
what did you? I'm sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off, but
So no problem.
what did you think about that strategy of being slow and methodical?
I think it being slow is like his nature. He starts slow. That's a fact. But it's also part of the game plan. So he came in that like and also it was both of them were like showing respect to each other.
Mhm.
But Ubek was like, I need to take advantage of this show. This is my coming, my debut. So he need to give it a go. He need to put his best. So Izechukwu was more relaxed and he was defending because he's fighting a kickboxer. So he was guiding so much, protecting his head. He has his guard high all through the first round. He was more free in the second round, coming out, engaging, exchanging. So I think it's part of the gameplay, like you say, but he started slow, and the experience made him to start slow without being worried. As a
But
fighter, mostly you want to come to the occasion active
yeah,
to
but
show Dana White that I'm here.
yeah, I
But
understand. Dana White does
yeah,
not like that, but
he doesn't like that.
they ended up winning fight of the night.
Yeah, they won fight
But
of the night.
and here is another thing. When he
Yeah.
started doing that, as a fighter, when you see when a fighter cares about holding a guard up here, That means that he's submitting the body for body strikes. That is one. Number two, he's submitting the body for takedowns. That means that he does not respect the ground game of Ulberg.
Definitely.
That is one. And two, Ulberg, he's not wired that way to fight on the ground.
Sure.
So when I saw him doing this, I knew that throughout that fight, they are going to stay on their feet. That was
you know something else? He was staying there to get hold of his head. He doesn't want any strike to come on his head, any kick, because that could just disrupt the whole fight. So he knows this is his strength. Let me guard this. Like you said, anything downward, no problem. I'll be fine there. So it was a fun fight. It was a fun fight. Most people wanted other fights to be fight with the night, but immediately after the fight, I knew this would be the finish was great.
Yeah,
man,
the finish was
awesome. Like the punch he landed on that guy was bad, man.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm not a fighter, but I know that finish was like stand in the pockets, chin up in the air, and then swing for the fences. You understand?
Yeah.
He tried to strike with his left hook. He missed, and then he clinched him with the right. It didn't look too powerful, but then the fatigue in the body of Ulberg played a part too in how he went down, because he hit him clean in the chin. So, but then because of the fatigue, Ulberg's head was like in the straight line. He wasn't moving. He wasn't moving his head out of place, and his hands were down.
Which shows he didn't show too much respect for Kennedy's punching, striking. Yeah. Because another thing that happened is that the second one he came was breathing heavy. You get kind of panting. We're not giving Kennedy enough credit for his jab, man. Those jabs were wonderful. Nice snapping jab. I was just saying on my PC. Pop, pop, pop. I'm like, what is this? But later on, this guy now got to.
I have a question. Are Nigerians naturally gifted with jabs, or is jab? I don't get it, because Kamaru Usman won his fight with a jab.
And let me tell you something. We have that heavy and strong hand. To be honest, I believe Nigerians are supposed to be called the Nigerian power, not even Polish power, because we have that heavy hand. If you look at the local Dembe, you know, in the north, we have that heavy landing hands. So, but most of them are coming through that tactical boxing approach.
Yes. That jab, Sadiq Yusuf has one of the biggest knockout power in the featherweight division.
And I know about going somewhere. I'm not going to go into that for long, but I just want to remind us that there's a guy called Usman Mohammed. Mohammed Usman. Yeah. So I want to see how that guy will do in heavyweight with his striking and his punch. So I think he will come with that heavy hand and just knock down people or knock out people.
Okay, so
it was a good fight.
So here's the thing, surprise, surprise. That fight, one fight of the night, and also Kennedy broke a UFC light heavyweight record. The record he broke was it is the biggest comeback in UFC lightweight history statistically, because Kennedy got a knockout, got a TKO while he was minus 50 in last strikes landed. That means that Ulberg landed 50 more strikes than him.
More strikes, yeah.
But then but statistically, when you watch the fight, it didn't really seem like that, because Kennedy wasn't panicking too much. You understand?
He was coming back.
But then after the fight, the stats did not make sense. He was behind in strikes landed by 50, over 50 strikes. And that is the biggest margin in UFC light heavyweight history. Wow. So, and also there was to support his game plan going into this fight with putting on pressure and then walking into your opponent, putting on pressure. He at some point he got an eye poke.
Yeah.
And they took a timeout. So after the timeout, when they were in the timeout, the coach was like, yo, we have an advantage with that fatigue, his fatigue. We don't want to give him time with this eye poke. Let's get back in. Kennedy also admitted that his eyes were blurry. He couldn't see. He had blurry blood visions, but he wanted to keep on keeping on, if you get what I mean. So props to Kennedy for that.
Props to him. I'm just also looking at the stats as you're talking about, as you just mentioned the stats. I'm looking at the stats. From what I'm seeing now, the fight was going all the way of Ulberg, man. All the way of Ulberg. More of the impact hit is 146 as against 82 of Kennedy. Can you imagine? So, like you say, it's like a great comeback, a wonderful comeback. I think experience played a part in this fight. So, props to Kennedy. He was composed, relaxed. He engaged well. Although I felt he had the power strike for me. His own strikes were more nastier than that of Ulberg. Ulberg was just coming to show his self. He had thrown the punch, thrown the kicks, and all that. He was just landing, but not as damaging as that of Kennedy.
And
that's
also,
why. Yeah.
UFC are trying to cash on Ulberg, thinking is the next Adesanya, because the promo for the fight was all about Ulberg.
Ulberg, yeah.
There was even an interview with Adesanya that he was like, he's the next great thing.
Yeah. They
like,
showing the making of the promo.
Kennedy, where, how would you feel? How would you feel?
Yeah.
I feel like they found the Nzechukwu. They thought it was going to be a perfect fit for Ulberg's coming home party, if you get what I mean. You understand? But surprise.
Yeah.
Nigerian power.
Nigerian power. I see now. Representing the African giant. So
you know what I mean?
I know.
Anyways, let's just dive into this. I think we're done with that.
Come on, Africans!